You are now listening to the Vegan Stuff Podcast with Caavakushi.
Hosting this podcast today are our two AI hosts, Sam and Kim. If you simply can't get enough of us, go to caavakushi.com and sign up for our vegan newsletter and get our free 7-day high-protein vegan meal plan. And we also have some good news. We will be releasing our first ever cookbook pretty soon, so stay tuned. Hey, don't forget to follow us on our socials too.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely. Always up for a good deep dive.
Today we're going to be diving into London's newest vegan cookie shop.
Oh, cookies. Okay.
It's called Crumb Cookies.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you sent over their website, of course, and some customer reviews.
Yep. Those were fun to read.
And also, there was a great piece from Hot Dinners in there as well.
Yeah, that was a good one. Really detailed.
I'm really excited to kind of dig in and see, do these cookies actually live up to the hype?
Right.
Are vegan cookies really that good? I mean, you hear it all the time, but...
It's always the question, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's find out.
All right, let's do it.
So one thing that I found really interesting is that Crumb Cookies, they're not just some random bakery that's popping up,
yeah,
right?
Definitely not. There's a bit more to it than that.
The founder, Amy Gassman, she's already a known name in the London food scene.
Oh, really? Fill me in.
Yep.
I like where this is going.
She's the brains behind Eat by Amy.
Okay.
Which is
I'm not familiar with that one.
It's a successful vegan bakery.
Oh, interesting.
That's been doing really well for the last few years.
So she's not new to this whole vegan baking thing.
Yeah, exactly. So she's not exactly a newbie when it comes to whipping up some delicious vegan treats.
That's a good sign, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if she's already got that kind of experience, that's got to count for something.
Absolutely. And, it seems like, with Eat by Amy, she's already mastered the whole, sourcing high quality ingredients, navigating the business side of things.
Yeah, all the stuff that, isn't always so glamorous.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's super important.
And most importantly, understanding what customers want.
Yeah, absolutely. Hitting that sweet spot, no pun intended.
Right. You have to. And that kind of experience is invaluable.
It's true. Especially in a market like London. It's so competitive.
Yeah, it really is. And from what I'm seeing on their website, Crumb Cookies is going for a very specific vibe.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So they describe themselves as a grab-and-go experience.
Okay.
They're located in Islington's Camden Passage.
Ah, nice spot.
Yeah.
Trendy.
And they're even drawing inspiration from Levain Bakery in New York.
Oh, wow.
Which, for those who don't know, is legendary for its giant gooey cookies.
They've achieved cult status
among New Yorkers.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it's a bold move to try and replicate that kind of success, especially with a vegan twist.
Especially with a vegan twist, that adds a whole other layer of complexity to try and nail that same feel, those same textures.
It really does.
It's not easy.
It sets a high bar, but I think it also tells you that they're serious about quality and taste.
Definitely. It's a statement.
Yeah, because replicating the textures and flavors of traditional baking without using eggs or dairy, that's not easy.
No,
not at all. It requires a deep understanding of ingredient interactions and some really clever techniques.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to get creative.
You really do.
There's a lot of science that goes into that, actually.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
How to get that rise.
Yeah.
How to get that chewiness.
The chewiness.
It's all about the chemistry.
Yeah, it's a whole other world. Speaking of which, let's talk about the cookies.
Let's get to the good stuff. I'm ready.
They've got 4 core flavors.
All right, lay it on me.
So we have the OG, which is a classic chocolate chunk.
Classic, love it.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yep.
Then they've got the GOAT meal, which is an oatmeal raisin.
Okay, interesting. A little twist on the classic.
Yeah, I like that name.
It's a good name.
They have the Brookie.
Brookie? Okay.
Which is a brownie cookie hybrid.
Ooh, that sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous, but delicious.
And it's also gluten-free.
Oh, nice. So they're covering all the bases.
Yeah. And last but not least,
hit me.
is the bisque goes off.
What?
Which is a white chocolate cookie loaded with Biscoff and Lotus biscuits.
They went there. Biscoff and Lotus biscuits.
I mean, these names alone are making my mouth water.
They're definitely tapping into some current food trends, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Biscoff and Lotus biscuits, like, they're having a moment right now.
They really are. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And, it works. It's that perfect.
It's that sweet and salty.
Yes. And a little bit caramelly.
Yeah.
It's a winning combo.
It really is. And of course, we have to mention the monthly special.
Oh, yeah. There's always got to be a special.
Right. For their opening month, it's called the Parent Trap.
The Parent Trap. What is that?
And it is a peanut butter cookie.
Okay. I like where this is going.
With a whole Oreo inside.
Whoa. They did not hold back.
Talk about an indulgent combination.
That's next level.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on these flavors?
Well, I got to say, those monthly specials sound really fun.
Yeah.
But for me, honestly, I'm most curious about those core flavors.
Oh, interesting.
Because I think, building a solid reputation often relies on like a few signature items.
Right.
That people come back for again and again. Mm-hmm. And it's those core flavors that I think will truly test their ability to create like really good vegan cookies.
That stand up to like the classics.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good point.
Because anyone can throw together, a crazy over-the-top special.
Yeah.
But can you nail the basics?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way.
That's what I'm really curious about.
And speaking of the brookie, it's great that they're offering a gluten-free option.
Absolutely, yeah. It's good to be inclusive.
Yeah, definitely.
Cater to different dietary needs.
But with all these like interesting ingredients, it does make you wonder about, allergens.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a big concern these days.
They do mention on their website that everything is baked in a plant-based bakery.
Okay, good.
So no eggs or dairy are used on site.
So that's reassuring for people with, those specific allergies.
Yeah.
But they also mentioned that other allergens may be present.
Yeah.
Due to shared baking facilities.
Shared baking facilities.
So, as always, crucial for anyone with serious allergies to really double check and be cautious.
Absolutely. Safety first.
Always.
Especially when it comes to food.
Yeah. You don't want to mess around with that.
No, you don't. But back to those tempting treats.
Okay, let's get back to the fun stuff.
Yeah. What stands out to you from a flavor perspective?
Well, I think what's really clever is this balance they've struck between familiar and innovative.
Yeah, I see that.
You've got your classic chocolate chunk and your oatmeal raisin.
Right.
But then they've elevated them, with those twists. Like those Biscoff and Lotus biscuits.
And Lotus, yeah.
Or like that peanut butter and Oreo combo.
Yeah.
So it's familiar, but with a little something extra.
And those flavor combinations are further enhanced by their choice of coffee.
Oh, interesting. Tell me about the coffee.
Yeah. So they're serving a special blend from Campbell & Syme, which is a Hertfordshire-based roastery.
Local. I like it.
Yeah.
Supporting local businesses.
And it's described as nutty chocolatey.
Ooh, that sounds like it would pair really well.
Yeah.
With the cookies.
So it seems very carefully chosen to complement the cookies.
It's all about that complete sensory experience, right?
It is.
Like thinking about how the flavors of the coffee and the cookies will interact.
Yeah.
That shows a real attention to detail.
Yeah.
A well-paired coffee can really elevate the tasting experience. Bring out certain notes or add a contrasting element.
Yeah. It's like, wine pairings.
Exactly. Same idea.
But for cookies.
Did you know we have a vegan search engine, a vegan forum, a vegan newsletter, and so much more coming soon? So why not check us out at Caavakushi.com.
Now, you mentioned Amy's experience with Eat by Amy.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Crumb Cookies is taking things to a whole new level.
Okay, how so?
They're not just selling individual cookies. They're also offering catering for events.
That's smart.
And supplying wholesale to cafes.
Okay, so they're already thinking big in terms of expanding their reach.
Yeah, they are.
That's a smart strategy.
They really are. It allows them to tap into existing networks and infrastructure.
Right.
Instead of just like relying solely on foot traffic to their storefront.
Exactly.
So it exposes their brand to a much wider audience.
Yeah, they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
They're not. So we're picturing like Crumb Cookies at weddings, office parties, maybe a trendy art gallery opening.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of cafes.
Oh, yeah.
Having their cookies stocked in cafes, that introduces them to a whole new customer base.
Yeah.
Who might not have otherwise, sought them out.
Right.
So it's a win-win situation.
It really is.
For everybody involved.
So it seems like they've really thought this through from like the business side of things.
Yeah, definitely.
But of course, none of that really matters if the cookies aren't actually good.
Right. It all comes down to the taste.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
So let's dive into what people are saying.
All right. The moment of truth.
You included some customer reviews in the research you sent over, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And the feedback is, it's overwhelmingly positive.
Okay.
Like people seem genuinely impressed.
Oh, that's good.
Especially by the fact that these cookies are vegan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about how you can't even tell they're plant-based.
Yeah, I saw that pop up a few times.
Yeah, that seems to be a recurring theme.
Yeah, for example, one customer said the GOA meal cookie was a game changer.
Wow, high praise.
Right.
For an oatmeal raisin cookie.
And then another one said that the OG cookie is everything a cookie should be.
Okay.
Perfectly chewy to the bite and soft and gooey on the inside.
Well, they've nailed the texture.
Yeah.
Which is so crucial for a good cookie.
I think so too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It can make or break it.
It can.
And that positive feedback, like it has this ripple effect,
Yeah.
It generates buzz, encourages others to try it.
Totally.
And it ultimately, contributes to their success.
For sure, especially for a new business.
Right, exactly. It's so important for them to build that, positive word-of-mouth reputation early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that Crumb Cookies is tapping into something that goes beyond just cookies, right?
I think so, yeah.
They're riding this wave of gourmet vegan treats that are popping up, everywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely a trend.
It makes you wonder, what this says about changing food preferences and the evolving concept of indulgence.
Yeah, it's a fascinating shift, right?
Okay.
I think it speaks to this growing awareness that people have.
Yeah.
About the impact our food choices have, not just on, our own health, but also the environment and animal welfare.
Right.
More and more people are seeking out plant-based options, not just because they, want to eat less meat or dairy.
Yeah.
But because it aligns with their values.
Oh, it's not just about personal preference anymore. It's about aligning your choices with your values.
Exactly.
Which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's a powerful statement.
And it challenges this traditional notion that, indulgence has to be synonymous with, rich, heavy, animal-derived ingredients.
Yeah, you can't enjoy yourself without, a big steak or a slice of cheesecake.
Yeah.
But Crumb Cookies and other gourmet vegan businesses are proving that wrong.
Exactly.
You can have decadent, satisfying treats that are also plant-based.
And align with those values.
Yeah.
It's about expanding the possibilities of what indulgence can be.
Absolutely.
It's about saying, I can have my cookie and eat it too.
Yeah.
And feel good about it on multiple levels.
I couldn't agree more. And I think Crumb Cookies is particularly well-positioned to capitalize on this trend.
What makes you say that?
Well, like we talked about, Amy Gassman's prior experience with Eat by Amy gives her this deep understanding of the vegan market.
Right, yeah.
And her commitment to quality and taste, it's evident in everything.
Oh, yeah.
From, the carefully chosen ingredients to the thoughtful coffee pairings.
Speaking of Amy's experience, let's go back to that for a moment.
Okay.
Her previous venture focused on wholesale, catering, and markets. It makes you wonder if she's applying any lessons learned from Eat by Amy to this new grab-and-go cookie shop model.
That's a good question. And while the formats are different, there are definitely transferable skills and insights.
Yeah. Okay.
For example, understanding how to scale production without sacrificing quality is crucial for both businesses.
Yeah, for sure.
And having an established network of suppliers and customers from Eat by Amy could give Crumb Cookies a significant advantage.
So she's not starting from scratch.
Exactly.
She's building on a foundation of knowledge and experience.
Yeah, which is a great sign for the future of Crumb Cookies.
It really is.
And that prior experience likely informed her decision to diversify beyond just individual cookie sales.
Yeah, okay.
By offering catering and wholesale options, she's creating multiple revenue streams and reducing her reliance on any single channel.
Yeah, that's smart.
It's a smart strategic move.
And it fits perfectly with the grab-and-go concept.
Right.
Those cookies are practically begging to be shared at events or enjoyed as an afternoon pick-me-up at a local cafe.
You're getting the picture.
It's all about making those delicious vegan cookies accessible to as many people as possible in as many ways as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've talked about the cookies, the coffee, the rave reviews, the business strategy, but what does this all mean for our listener?
Right, good point.
Why should they care about a vegan cookie shop in London, especially if they don't even live there?
That's a great question. And even if you're not planning a trip to London anytime soon, I think Crumb cookies represent something much bigger.
Okay.
It's a delicious example of how culinary trends are evolving.
Yeah.
And how the concept of indulgence is being redefined.
It's a reminder that delicious food can also be ethical and sustainable.
Yeah.
It's about expanding our definition of what's possible in the kitchen.
I love that.
And don't underestimate the power of inspiration.
No, absolutely not.
Crumb cookies might spark a craving for something new.
Yeah.
Something different.
Totally.
It might encourage you to explore the gourmet vegan options in your own city.
Yeah, see what's out there.
Or even try your hand at baking some vegan treats at home.
Yeah, get creative in the kitchen.
I have to admit, I'm feeling a little inspired myself.
That's the beauty of food, right?
Yeah.
It has the power to connect us.
Yeah.
To inspire us.
Yeah.
And to open our minds to new possibilities.
Absolutely.
And sometimes all it takes is a really good cookie.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into crumb cookies.
Time flies when you're talking about cookies.
It really does.
We've explored everything from Amy Gassman's journey to the cookie lineup, the rave reviews, and the broader implications of this delicious phenomenon.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
What are your thoughts on the rise of gourmet vegan treats?
What stood out to you about crumb cookies?
And if you happen to find yourself in London, be sure to check them out and let us know what you think.
We always love hearing from our listeners.
And we covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, it was a pretty deep dive.
It was. But, there's always more to explore, right?
Oh, definitely.
There really is.
Especially in the world of food. There's always something new popping up. And as we've seen with crumb cookies, sometimes the most exciting discoveries happen when we kind of step outside of our comfort zones.
I think that's so true. Yeah, you got to be open to trying new things.
It's a delicious reminder that the world of food is full of surprises.
Yeah.
Just waiting to be, savored.
Absolutely.
So
keep exploring.
Keep exploring.
Keep indulging.
Yeah.
And keep those taste buds tingling.
That's what it's all about.
It is. Until next time, happy snacking, everyone.
Happy snacking.
Thanks for listening. We hope you liked this episode. If you did, we'd really appreciate it if you could give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. Also, we would be so appreciative if you could just share this episode or this podcast with all your friends and family who are vegans or vegan friendly. We're also really excited because we are going to be launching something really cool pretty soon on the site, so keep an eye out for that. And we will see you really soon with a new episode.